Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of Birds vs. Boys here on our YouTube page. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, thank you for listening. And make sure you're following us everywhere we are on social media, especially on TikTok, where Aiden has been going wild. We are getting closer and closer and closer, days and minutes away from the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The names are flying off the board. The puzzle pieces are being put together in terms of 30 visits for each team. We are starting to figure out who might make moves, who might our teams pick. This is one of the best times of the year for psychos like us, except if you win the Super Bowl like Aiden did a couple of months ago. But other than that, one of the best times of the year. We are here to go a little bit around the horn of the first round of the mock draft, something Aiden's been wanting to do. So, Aiden, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am a diseased man because I am watching a lot of players that the Eagles might be interested in. It led me down a rabbit hole of watching Boston College versus Michigan State in full from September. That probably is not healthy, but I love doing it. So there's worse vices in the world than ACC Big Ten football. And
There
that's
are.
how much I love draft season. And I have so many players that I've already fallen in love with, and there's still about 2.5 weeks to go. So I will fall in love with many, many more before it's all said and done.
Absolutely. And it's, our teams are on a little bit different spectrum in terms of the first round. You obviously picking at 32, the Cowboys picking at 12. This is an interesting draft too, because it's kind of got like three dudes. And then it's like, okay, like you almost might be able to get the same prospect at 12 that you get at 32.
And you might be able to get the same prospect at 38 that you could get at 32. This is called foreshadowing. This is like in the White Lotus spoilers when they're having the conversation about how they're going to be together forever. What do you think is going to happen immediately after that? It's called foreshadowing. So, there are a lot of tweener people.
So are you saying there's a possibility the Eagles do not make a pick on Thursday night?
Correct. I think there is a large possibility that they do not make a pick. We will be doing, I'm sure we'll have a stream ready to go. We'll wait all night, and then come 32, they'll be like, all right, see you tomorrow.
It's almost like the Cowboys making a trade for Joe Milton, which I do love the trade. And they basically just pick swap. They move back 42 spots, but they got the first pick in the 7th round. I always feel like the first pick of any round is always fun, but the first pick in the 2nd round, I think, is arguably the best spot to be.
It's electric. If we trade back one spot with the Titans or the Browns, it's electric because you start the second night and you're like, it's when you're in your fantasy draft and you're through like 5 rounds and you're looking at your list of guys you circled and you're like, wait, there's still like 6 names left. What do I do? That'll be the Eagles if they trade back. I'm like, all right, cool. We're close.
And you have 24 hours of literally probably 7 to 10 teams calling you for 24 hours about taking that spot.
Bad. Yeah, I'll react the same way as I do when I'm at a brewery and I'm faced with a decision. And I'm like, well, there's 7 of these that sound delicious on the board at the brewery. I want to drink all of them. That'll be the same with prospects. We're like, 7 of these guys look delicious.
It is true. There's at 12, there's a lot of names right now in my mind that Tetairoa McMillan, I'm in. Golden, I'm in, but a little bit less. I think the funniest thing too, if you are a draft, not a novice, if you're a novice and you're just guys, Gentie's not going to be there at 12, okay, for the Cowboys. It's over. That was like a 1-month thing where everyone mocked him to the Cowboys just because it made sense. Well, guess what? The Raiders kind of figured out that it makes sense too, and they need a running back. And now they signed their quarterback for an extension for 3 more years, so chances of them taking Shador lower a little bit. Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. I don't think he's getting past the Raiders.
Well, I would say that about the Raiders, but then I remember what the Falcons did last year, and you can never say never in this league, I guess. But this does set up, as you're going through your either ors, the practice that we want to do today. So I kind of took this idea from Mina Kimes and shapeshifted it a little bit. So her and Field Yates were doing a mock draft where they took every team and they were given 2 players. So it's not a normal mock draft where you just, here's this person on the board. Who do you want to take? You're given 2 players, and you have to choose between those 2. But we're just going to do specifically Eagles and Cowboys. So I put
Okay.
together a list for Kevin of certain players who may or may not be there at 12 and make him decide between those 2 players if they're both still on the board. He will do the vice versa for me with the Eagles at pick 32. So just a little exercise to see how we feel about prospects. And if we were GMs on draft night, here is who we would take given the board falling this way.
And speaking of Field Yates, real quick, shout out to he used to just be fantasy guy. Now he's like an insider.
He's done a great job. He does mock drafts now too. He's an NFL draft guy, fantasy guy. He's really taken off. He has the key. You know what the key was? He grew his hair out. I did the same thing. You gotta have flow. You gotta have flow to make it in this life.
Speaking of flow, do you just want to flow into this since the Cowboys are picking first? You can hit me with your first ones.
Let's do it. I do. I'll give you one thing before we start. 10 seconds. I have a new guy that I've fallen in love with. He will not go on day one, and I'm going to struggle to pronounce his name. He's this year's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I remember I could not get his name, but I loved him.
You just got it.
This is the first time I might have ever gotten it. UCLA edge rusher Oluwafemi Oladejo.
Yes.
I am in love.
Yes.
I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. And by April draft night, if we draft him, I'm gonna get his name right. I'm trying so hard.
You will.
I'm gonna try. I think I actually did just get it.
I think you did too.
And I think he goes by Femi. I was watching games and they were like Femi Oladejo on the tackle, so I might have a cheat out of this, like I had with JOK.
I like Femi a lot.
He's amazing. I'm
very excited. I like the name too. I like the
yeah, exactly. I always choose people. I should stop falling in love with people who have the hardest names to pronounce because then I make myself look like an idiot. I'm so in love with this guy. Don't know how to say his name, but he's awesome.
Cool nicknames like Osa or Femi.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into it. Let's start our would you rather either or mock draft, however you want to call it. I'm going to go to you first because it's pick 12. This is hilarious because you kind of already alluded to who you would choose.
Sorry.
2 wide receivers on the board. Tet McMillan or Matthew Golden. They're both on the board at 12. Who are you going with?
That was foreshadowing, but we didn't talk about it beforehand. All right. So both of these guys have huge upside, right? I think Tet McMillan is that I've seen him comped like his upside is Brandon Marshall. If I could get Brandon Marshall at 12 and pair him with CeeDee Lamb, I'm in. Some people are fearful of that like big receiver, right? The Kelvin Benjamins of the world that, never seem to figure it out. People were a little bit, weary of his 40 time, right? Some scouts saying he was in the high 4.5s when others had him clocked at 4.5 flat, 4.51. So, but he's never been that burner type guy, right? That's not his game. He's more that possession guy. He is a nightmare matchup for wide receivers in man-to-man coverage. He just goes and gets the ball. He makes plays, and we saw it over and over and over again. I think this is a guy that you watch his tape, you shut off the monitor, and you say, don't overthink it. Like that's Tet McMillan. Golden, on the other hand, is that he's going to stretch the field type guy, right? He's going to make the explosive plays. I think if you're bringing one to training camp right in front of fans, Golden's going to make those explosive plays that are going to be tweeted out by Todd Archer, right? And then fans are just going to go nuts. Like, did you see that? But I think Golden has more of the chance to be that receiver early on in his career because he's still working on his route running, right? I think he has more of that opportunity to have 7 for 135 and a touchdown in week 7. And then in week 8, he's 1 for 8 yards. Where I think Tet McMillan is going to consistently get you 6, 7 catches, going to be over 100 yards, maybe 75. He gets touchdowns. And what is the other thing that the Cowboys have been lacking recently? Red zone offense.
Backbone.
That too. Owner, general manager, those things. But red zone offense. I feel like Tet would help them in the red zone more. That big body, throw it up in the corner of the end zone, throw the X up like Des Bryant used to, like he did it 3 times against Nolan Carroll. in Philadelphia, which I was live in the building for. So
name.
I think I'm going to shut my monitor off. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to go Tet McMillan. Turn the card.
I would agree with you if I was given that decision, and I think it's one of I hear a lot of people really high on Matthew Golden. I understand it, but also actually going back to Field Yates, he mentioned this. He's like, it's just Tet just being overanalyzed at this point because he was supposed to be top 5, and then it was like, all right, well, everyone watched him first because he was a bona fide top 5 for the entire season, and then we got to the end of the year, and it was like, all right, well, now we have the ability to go back and kind of watch some other guys. Texas had a really strong season with Matthew Golden. Like, did we just like watch him first, and now he's not the new shiny toy like you and I mentioned, so then he kind of falls because of that. I think the reason I brought him to 12 is not just the over analyst of him. I think there's a good chance that he goes because I think there's a run on other guys at other positions. So there's like that potential that he falls to 12, and I don't think that ability was there before. So that's why I wanted to lead with him.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Tech going off the board at like 10 to the Bears.
Yeah. When I did it to the Saints because I was like, they need everything.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, go get him because it's like they have Olave, but he's in the slot, and he's also the concussions are piling up at an alarming rate. Yeah. So do you really have Olave? But they need everything. So
Yep. So I would go 10. All right. Mr. Super Bowl champ picking at 32. Let's say the phones were ringing. Didn't like what was offered. We're going to sit here at 32. And we're going to pick. I'm going to give you 2 different positions, but same school.
Oh, I know where this is going. Can I guess the school?
Defensive. Oh, yeah, you can if you want to guess.
Ole Miss.
Nope.
Oh. Okay. Texas A&M.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Ohio State.
Okay. I like this.
Defensive tackle Tyleik Williams or offensive guard Donovan Jackson?
I would go with Donovan Jackson. I think actually it's funny that I do say that because a lot of the mock drafts I've done, I've went defensive line, whether it be edge rusher or defensive tackle. I do think I believe the Eagles met with the Ohio State offensive guard Donovan Jackson, so the need is there, the want is there. You and I are planning a show on the importance of 30 visits and what it means with these teams, and I think there's a really good chance, like if I said this, I did a video last week. I was like, if they're talking to you, they're interested in you, and I think with him, it fills the final piece where it's like they lost Mekhi Becton, but now they can plug Jackson in at right guard and feel really solid and solidified with that offense. And he's another guy who's going to end up being one of those like red stars where it's like you were the best player on the best team, you won the national championship, and you were a solidifying point behind 2 running backs who could now go into the first round, and Travion Henderson and
please give me Henderson at 44 to the Cowboys. That's my wish.
Maybe we might have to redo this for round 2.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, so I'm going offensive line with Donovan Jackson.
Okay, I like that. And when I did that together, I was like, okay, I remember weeks ago speaking with you, and you're like, I would not expect a position of wide receiver, cornerback, or anything like that anywhere up close in this draft. This is going to be a trenches first draft. We build inside out, unlike Brian Schottenheimer, who said last week, we're building outside in. So the complete opposite of what the Super Bowl champs are doing.
Well, when you need outside and inside, listen, when the house is a wreck and the yard needs mowed, sometimes it's easier to just mow the grass first and get one of the easy tasks out of the way.
Can you imagine if Schottenheimer was like, we're going to build right up the middle, right? You need a strong second baseman, shortstop, and center field. What?
Yeah. Oh, like, hold on. Who's pitching? Can I amend that? I thought about this yesterday. Non-zero chance if he's there that they take Emeka Ibuka.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it later. That's a cliffhanger. Non-zero chance. Not saying it's likely. I won't even put him. I was going to do a video that's like top 5 people that could take a 32.
I think he's going to be close. I could see him going like 27 to the Patriots, maybe. I could see him going to the Broncos at 31, 24 to the Steelers
Ravens,
if they don't move. Like he's going to be in the mid to late 20s, I think.
Ravens, I think, are another one where they have Zay
Mhm.
Flowers, but Abuka is different as a receiver, so he could be there for them. But yeah.
Yep.
All right. This one, I'm keeping the first two. I wanted to have some splash play for you. So I'm keeping the name that you chose before in Tet McMillan. And you mentioned this guy won't be here, but I'm curious to see what you would do if given the opportunity on both of these guys. Tet McMillan or Ashton Genty. They somehow last to 12. I think there's a slim chance, but it is possible. Which one are you going with?
See, this is a tough one for a couple reasons. One, it's Ashton Genty and then a drop. And then it's like Omarion Hampton, the kid from Iowa, and Henderson. Then I think it's a drop. And then Junkins and those guys, Harvey from USF. But I say that thinking that running back stretches deeper than receiver does in this draft. And I think receiver stretches too. Like I love Besh, the kid from TCU. Like there's guys you can get in third. Well, Cowboys again don't have a fourth, fifth round at receiver. So that is where the Tet McMillan comes in. And for all the reasons I mentioned, if you missed it, just roll back about 4 minutes ago of why I love Tet McMillan. But I think Genty is a prospect among himself, right? I think he is overall the best player in this draft. He has size, he's got speed, he runs through people, runs away from people, and he is also, they say, just an off the field all around good guy, right? And Brian Schottenheimer is saying culture. He wants to build good culture. The team, he's going to add to that, and he will be an automatic upgrade to what they have. In this situation, if he falls to 12, I can't walk away from Genty.
I thought you might say that, but I thought that there might be the option of I'm going to pair Tet because I believe strongly in him with CD, and then we're going to be unstoppable and we can gun it old school air raid style. So that I wanted to propose that one.
Yeah, it is not easy to make that decision with those two there. If those two are there, you're like, oh God.
The board, I mean, it's a dream scenario though, because the board just felt great for the Cowboys.
Perfectly. Yep. All right. Let's go back to 32 here. I am going to pull an Ole Miss player here for you.
Yeah.
We're going to go different positions, but same group, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Defensive tackle Walter Nolen.
Yep.
Edge rusher Donovan Ezeiruaku from Boston College.
Oh my God, this is hard. This is so painful. I can't believe you did this to me. These are my two favorite. These are my two favorite guys. And a lot of mock drafts, what's been happening is one of them gets taken at 29 and one lasts till 32. So I never have to face this decision because it gets made for me. But now I have to make it. Oh man. I in the background here, I have notes of what I want to do. And I'm actually running a simulator as we do this, and that is on the board right now. So that's why Is it really both of them are on the board?
On the board for you right now.
This is hilarious because it's like it's either one or the other. And Ezeiruaku, he goes at 30. I swear to God, every time I do a mock, and I'm doing it on different platforms, and it's always pick 30, he's off. To go back to our intro, he was the reason why I was watching Michigan State Boston College from early September last year to see him. If I had to choose between the two, keyword me, If I'm the GM, I would go with Walter Nolan. Todd McShay, his comp for Walter Nolan, Milton Williams. So right there, check that box position of need off there for us. He's pretty explosive at the defensive tackle position, so constantly getting himself into the backfield. Last year had 14 and a half tackles for loss. Ole Miss set a school record for tackles for loss. I'm a big proponent in productivity, and I can prove that it occurred with players from that team on that defense. So I really like his pairing there, especially early on where he won't have to see double teams because Jalen Carter will take them. If he goes other places, he might be the focal point on the interior. Here he is not, which enhances him and enhances what he's very good at. And I think you then create a trio or really a core four with Mora Jomo, who they think is going to step up, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Walter Nolan. And I think if you have that core four, you'd be really excited. The reason I said me, is because the Eagles have done a top 30 visit with Donovan Ezeiruaku. I like him a lot. Really explosive at the edge rusher position, really athletic guy. You know what's funny is the knock on him and the scouting report that I read was it struggles to set the edge at times on run plays. And then I watched the game and I'm like, he just was in on back-to-back run stops. So that being the knock, and then watching some of his games, I'm like, he seems to always be involved in the play. Boston College lined him up at a lot of different spots. So yeah, that's what I liked as well, is you get him on a line with Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. We start to create some NASCAR packages that are pretty, exciting. Like that's NASCAR at its finest. We're Daytona 500 level NASCAR stuff from those guys. I really like them. Shake and bake. Yeah. Cal Naughton, Ricky Bobby Jr. That's going to be Ezeiruaku and Nolan Smith getting to the quarterback. So I came away so impressed with him. The one thing, his RAS score, it's hilarious. Everything athletically through the freaking roof. Shuttle, 40, broad jump, all of them through the roof. Size and weight, yellow. Everything athletic, green. Him, size and weight, yellow. And it's like Bryce Huff has ruined that, which it shouldn't happen though, because like Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt were kind of similar. So I'm going with Walter Nolan, but those are my two favorite guys.
Okay.
Sorry that was so long-winded, but I'm infatuated with both of them.
I like it. You do another one?
I do. This one, this kind of gets more into the nitty-gritty. Those were some flashy ones I gave you before. Two different positions here, but two quality guys. Jahdae Barron, corner, Texas. Jihad Campbell. Of those two, who would you go with?
Position that they need both in, right? The corner.
Yes.
They definitely need linebacker. We don't know what the deal with Trayvon Diggs is, if he's coming back, if he's even going to be on this team, how long. Got Deron Bland. Oh, God. See, I like Jahdae a lot. You just turn on the tape, dude makes plays, right? Do they love him in terms of size and range, right? He's got the shorter arms. Campbell had that injury. Oh, God. Wow.
He did. He had the rotator cuff surgery. I didn't know this, that it was after the combine.
Yes.
I knew that he had surgery on his labrum or rotator cuff. Which one was it?
I think it was labrum. Maybe it was rotator. I forget.
Neither sound particularly good for a linebacker.
So for me, it's Jahdae. Plays in Texas already. I want that fire. He finds the ball, right? The team didn't have turnovers a lot last year. I want the turnovers back. You pair him with Bland, could be that no-fly zone, right? So I'm gonna go Jahdae just because, listen, Campbell's a beast, and they need a linebacker. But I'm a little weary of the injury, and like you said, being after the combine, what was missed on the medicals. So I'm gonna go Jahdae.
That is strange. It happened after.
Yes.
All right. By the way, I put Jahdae because I'm a big fan.
I'm gonna do something here to you.
Okay.
That part of it I don't think is realistic, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And part of it I think is realistic.
Go for it.
And something that I think might hurt you. a little bit.
Oh,
So wide receiver, and I'm going against what you said weeks ago about outside in. Wide
That's
receiver
okay.
Emeka Egbuka is on the board. And somehow, some way, there was a gas mask, there was a speeding ticket, there was a whole bunch of things. Tight end Tyler Warren from Penn State is also there.
Oh, it's Warren. It's not even close. If they could get, if he drops to the 20s, look out, because we got 21 picks in the treasure chest for these next 2 years. If he sniffs the 20s, I think we'd be aggressive to go up and get him. He just one of the they were talking about, like, if he came out last year, he would be ahead of Brock Bowers, and then Bowers set the tight end receptions for a rookie this past year. He's like everything you could dream. He was made in a tight end lab where he's like really physical, really well built. Another product of the Penn State weight room that seems to be pumping and churning out athletes down there. So he's really, really strong, but also he doesn't ever seem to like sacrifice and become lunky because of that, or clunky in anything that he does. You can create separation all the time. You see them taking deep shots to him all the time. Deep shot in the Boise State game where he got his feet down in the back of the end zone. The infamous play against USC where he snapped the ball and then they threw it to him down the field. He makes a catch over a defender and a cornerback at that. And then for Eagles purposes, it kind of eliminates having to utilize Jalen Hurts as the tush push guy, because you could use Warren. The Penn State did that a lot, where it wasn't necessarily the tush push, but in short yardage situations, they would use Warren in running. He would snap it direct to him and then use him in a rushing capability. So it would definitely be him. It would be really tough. And for Egbuka, I do think, like I said, there's a non-zero chance because he does a lot of things that would benefit this team. He plays in the slot. It wouldn't be a detriment to Devontae or AJ at all. Jahan Dotson's on his last year. When we're working the margins the way the Eagles do, it would make sense to have a wide receiver 3 on a rookie deal. Don't know how sold they are on Ainias Smith. He was hurt in the preseason. I hope he's good. I just don't know. Johnny Wilson, I don't know if they're sold on as well. So you got a good blocker in Emeka Egbuka, another Red Star guy who's a team captain on a team who's won a lot, and then production is there with great hands. He is the all-time receptions leader at wide receiver U. Like, and if you've watched the Eagles without Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, which has happened every year, it's atrocious. It is disgusting football the way we look without those two guys. So having a backup insurance policy in Egbuka, I don't hate.
And if you look at all the guys, the star 1A wide receiver ones that he's played behind in his career at Ohio State, he's been that guy, right? He's been that guy where he'll fit in with AJ and Devontae like nothing. He's used to it, but he can also step up in their absence, need be, at times.
Production when called upon. He played with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and now Jeremiah Smith. And guess what? At the end of the day, he is the university leader in receptions. So his productivity did not crater by talent around him. So I think that's a very important aspect of his game.
100%. All right, you got another one for me?
I do. We're switching it up a little bit. This name might shock you, but I do think it's a position of need. Well, one of them might shock you. I got Kenneth Grant.
Michigan,
defensive tackle. So just go severance mode and erase any defensive tackles from Michigan in your mind right now.
Or just any players from Michigan in my mind.
That too.
Yep.
I forgot about that, Coach Charlton.
Maybe this is a bad one. And you forgot about Schoonmaker, our second round tight end that we had too.
This might be a bad one then. Gary Zabel, offensive lineman from North Dakota State.
Are you really doing this? Because this is what I have written down for you next. Like
that's all. You know what's funny? I was like, Zabel's been like in the 32 range for the Eagles, and all of a sudden I'm looking at mocks and listening to people who are in the know, and they're like, yeah, he had a great Senior Bowl once he finally got against really good competition, and it's really starting to seem like he won't make it to 32.
I would go Zabel because I think he would be that Zach Martin replacement right away. He could step in and play immediately. this line needs some help, right? And I want to keep Cooper Beebe at center. They drafted him. He played guard out of K-State. You invested over a year with him at center. He showed you, what he can do at center. And I think in the future with more reps at center, he's going to be a very, very good center. And I don't like this center class at all. I don't think that there's any good centers at all. So I don't want to mess with that.
Georgia.
So I don't know, Brock Hoffman, right? Brock Hoffman's good for like 6 games. Brock Hoffman's not good for 17. So I need somebody in there like a Zabel. You put him next to Terrence Steele. You figure out left tackle, and away we go. So I think it's Zabel for me.
He is a perfect tweener right now, where he was going late 20s, early 30s. Then he was early 20s. Now, if you saw him at 12, nobody would be shocked.
Yep.
But he's got a wide range right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are a little fearful of the North Dakota State stuff, not the highest competition in the world. But like you said, Senior Bowl against good competition, played really well. That's what people want to see.
And I think that's why he's rising so fast, is they finally got to see him against SEC talent and not North Dakota talent.
Yep. All right, you want one more here?
Yep, I got one more for you, and I'll take one more.
Okay. Let me see here. Let's see what I got in my notes. I'm not going to do that same exact one that you just did.
So I did steal your thunder with Zabel.
That's okay. It's all right. That's fine. Let me just. I'm running one for real to make sure what I have is. Okay.
This is with 32 this year. There is a wide variance.
So I'm going to go offensive tackle, Josh Simmons, who I think is the best tackle in the draft. He had that knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
Or defensive tackle, Derek Harmon.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's actually a great one. Because you know what, though? I think if it comes down to this would be the one that they might trade out of. I feel I gotta stick to my guns. What am I doing? I've been mock drafting myself defensive tackles all week. Now I get on the show and I'm not gonna go defensive tackle. I'm going with Derek Harmon. I think it creates another solid. I like Walter Nolen better, but I have to be realistic with myself that there is the potential that he is not there, and I need to focus.
He goes to 12 to the Cowboys. Let's be real.
Who did?
There's potential that Walter Nolen could go 12 to the Cowboys.
He's another variance guy where it's like he goes 12 in a mock draft, and then you get online and you're like, there's character concerns. He's going to drop on draft night. And it's like, I don't know. We need to get in the know, because people in the know confuse me sometimes. Yes. Somebody says he goes 12. Somebody says don't take him at 32. Like, I don't know.
Derek Harmon, he's not even on my board.
He's not even. Yeah, he's off my board. Red flags galore. And it's like the James Pierce thing. I'm like, well, what did he do? Nobody ever knows.
Well, of course not.
So is he a horrible person or not? I need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised he did not pop up on this.
That is a good point.
I'm going Derek Harmon, though.
Okay.
To answer. I think I know we're talking about the trenches. I know both options were trenches, but I'm really hopeful for defensive tackle early, because I think it's a deep edge rusher draft where it's like you could solve the defensive line depth issue within the first 3 rounds and feel still pretty good and still have Steen and, swing back and get Charles Grant from William and Mary at pick 64 or 80, whatever it may be. So I feel like defensive tackle early is a better play.
Yeah, and it's like, do you want to tackle right now? It's like, you have the best left tackle in football. You have the best potential right tackle in football. He said he's not going anywhere yet. So it's like, could Lane Johnson be done after this year? And then you have your tackle of the future.
Yeah, and I think that is a game plan that you're probably going to see the Eagles utilize, and I thought it would be this year, but given the extension, maybe it's now next year, where
Yep.
they have a guy, he plays on the line, and then they kind of shift him out after a year to be the replacement for Lane Johnson. So
Yep.
I do think you're right. That is going to happen, whether it's this year or next year. And I think when you're picking at pick 32. I think there's a lot of talent. I think Josh Connerly is another, the Oregon tackle is somebody you could consider and bring him in and say, hey, play guard and then play tackle when Lane Johnson's done. I mentioned Charles Grant. He's later because he went to William and Mary. So he was blocking people my size out there. So it doesn't mean much. So, but he played tackle and did it well. And then you could flip him into guard and then maybe back out to tackle if he looks like he can handle it in the professionals. So there's a lot of options on the table there in rounds 2 and 3. So we're going to have to do a round 2 and 3 day.
Yes. Next, let's please.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to do one last one for you, and then we'll call it for today. But this was a great little exercise. One last position that I don't think I touched on, but might need some emphasis. And these two guys, same position, but different traits. Mykel Williams or Shamar Stewart.
Oh, God. I don't want anything to do with Shamar Stewart.
Oh, all right. So it's funny you say that.
Scares me. He scares me.
At one point, you could get him in a mock draft at 32.
Yep.
I see him like top 10 prospects. And I'm like, this edge rusher who had like 4.5 sacks, and it's like, I do like that he has emphasis in the run game and he's really explosive and he can set the edge, and that all is well and good. But
where's the production?
Yeah.
Show me some sacks. Show me some quarterback. He's bendy. He's okay. Show me how that translates. I haven't seen it.
But you didn't bend when you played Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And
he's going to be the pick, Aiden. Like, I've seen him mocked to the Cowboys so much recently, and he was there. I think he had a 30 visit. There's a video of him like shaking hands with the Cowboys owners.
We need to go back and see if Shamar Stewart was on the field for the Arkansas Texas A&M AT&T Stadium Bowl. And if he was, then we know why the Cowboys are infatuated with him.
And you know what it's going to be. They're not going to sign Micah until after the draft, and Jerry's going to draft him thinking it's a leverage piece in negotiations with Micah.
When in reality, you lost Marcus Lawrence and you're down an edge rusher at the premier position that you were very good at for a long time, and now you need somebody else. But Shamar Stewart seems to be vastly different than DeMarcus Lawrence. But him and his running mate, Nick Scourton, it's like, okay, so you were good at Purdue, and then you went to Texas A&M and your production waned. So your competition level escalated, but your production didn't escalate. Should I be concerned about these things? Right?
No, thank you. Yep.
Okay.
I'm out.
Well, then I'm not alone.
I'm out on Texas A&M boys, and especially at 12. No, thank you.
Good. I'm not alone.
That was fun.
That was a fun little exercise. When the pressure's on, it's tougher. Like, there's names that you love, and there's sometimes either neither of the names are there that you want, or both of the names you there are want, and it becomes like a really tough little mental exercise on the spot to choose.
Yep. But it's fun. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, everybody. I am, it's raining, Aiden, but I have some time, so I think I'm going to go do a walk and mock right now in the rain, which I think would actually be funnier.
It would be.
It's just drizzling. And maybe I'll just do picks I don't like.
Yeah, just it's boring off the cap of your hat, and you're like, Shamar Stewart at 12.
Whoever's from Michigan.
Yeah.
Tight end, Michigan, Colton, whatever his name is.
And we are the factory of Michigan sadness.
Oh, God. So, look out for walk-in mocks, especially from Aiden recently. We're going to be breaking down players. I am heading to Vegas tomorrow, but then I will be back on Friday, and we're going to hit the ground running in terms of as we get closer and closer and closer to the NFL draft. This was fun. We have to do this again. We are going to do a couple of mock drafts, Cowboys and Eagles live with the mock draft simulator on the screen, and then we will pick the entire first round for the entire NFL before draft day, and then a live draft stream, as always, the night of round 1. So thank you for watching. If it is your first time here on the YouTube channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. So close to 1,000. Let it happen. Tell your friends, tell your families. Birds vs. Boys is not just for Cowboys fans. It's not just for Eagles fans. It's not just for guys. It's for everybody. If you like football, we've got something for you. Hit the like, reach the comment section, and we'll be back soon with more draft coverage and info and news around the Cowboys and the Eagles.
That's called foreshadowing.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year! This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.